Hey there, I have a question for you. What's the first company you think of when you hear electric car? How about when you think about vacuums? Regardless of the company you thought of, the point to the question still remains the same. You immediately associated a particular company with a product with a want or need of the consumers. And this is one of the biggest indicators that a company has an extremely strong brand. But what is a brand and why is it important? Well, the short answer is that your brand is essentially everything your business stands for. It's what people think of when they think of your business. The ultimate goal is to have your brand pop into the consumer's mind whenever they think of the product or service you provide. How do we get there then? One small step at a time. I'll fill you in on the details as we go. Whenever you start a company, there are a few things that you need to decide at the beginning. The what, who, why, where, and how of what you want to do. Now, when you first start your business, you'll be doing some research into all of these to determine what you want to do with your business. We have other videos that go into depth in these, but how to turn them into a brand is what we're going to be focusing on today. Something you'll hear and read about repeatedly is that you need to be able to differentiate yourself from your competitors in the eyes of the consumer. So naturally, an important place to start with creating your brand is your logo. This will be on almost everything related to your business: website, advertising, social media, emails, documentations, labels, business cards, and more. It's a good idea to invest some money in having a unique and high quality logo because everyone will see it. Colors have a unique effect on the human brain, and they increase recognition by a considerable amount. Because you need to differentiate yourself from your competitors, your logo must have a unique design and use different colors from what your competitors are using. Look at the banks, for example. Chase uses blue, Wells Fargo uses dark red and gold, and Bank of America uses red and blue. Their logos are all very different and unique. If you drive by one of these banks, you don't even need to see the name on the building anymore, just the logo and the colors. But the logo needs to do more than just be recognizable. The logo needs to evoke some sort of emotion or association from the consumer. What logo do you think of when you think about phones? People are passionate about which brand of phone they use. I know I am. When I think about my particular brand of phone, I immediately feel a sense of trust that my phone will work, my battery will stay charged, and that it's provided me with so much value that the thought of losing it makes me feel dread. That is a deep effect, and it guarantees that I immediately think of that brand when I think about a cell phone. The next important decision is to determine what your brand promise will be. This will be what the consumer will judge you by. It will determine if your brand holds interest to them, it'll give them a standard to hold you to, and it will determine what they expect from you. The company values are what this promise stems from. The company needs to live and breathe this promise because if you don't live up to the consumer's expectations, they will not only go elsewhere, but they'll do so with a negative opinion of your brand. This could be from the way your business treats the environment, to having a cool and hip and trendy place to work, to the customer service provided to the customer. The logo and the promise are very much tied to the who part of what we were talking about earlier. If your target audience is law enforcement, you'll need to tailor your logo and your brand promise to connect with your target audience. But law enforcement is such a broad niche that it dilutes the strength of your message. Remember, you can't make everyone happy, even with a niche. Narrowing your target audience down a little bit can increase the strength of your message. Maybe you narrow this down from law enforcement to police uniforms. The clearer your message, the stronger your promise will be heard by your target audience. How about marketing? Your marketing material is also something that establishes your brand. I mentioned earlier that your promise and your logo would be all over it. This doesn't just mean putting those two items on there and then you're done. This means that everything about your ad must convey your message. The image, the video, script, location of the ad, everything. Take a look at some of the biggest brands out there. Companies like BMW and Apple, Samsung, Charmin, and Red Bull, they all have very distinctive ads. They speak their voice and their values and evoke an emotion that speaks to their target audience. Additionally, their ads convey a solution to a want or need for the target consumer audience. If you don't inspire a consumer, they will not remember you. You know how you always see tweets and Facebook posts from companies? Well, a few years ago, Wendy's wanted to try to find a way to interact with their customers in a more fun way so that they could increase their engagement levels and drive more sales. They started making snarky social media posts, and people loved it. People would even at Wendy's with questions or comments specifically so they could get roasted by Wendy's. The goal was that when people thought of fast food, they thought of Wendy's. They used their social media for so much more, though. People would reach out to them via social media in some way or another to express a problem that they had. How good your customer service is also defines your brand. A good way to get ahead of the negative public relations and also provide better social media is to engage unhappy customers on your business's homepage. Why? Because it's free branding. People see that you care about your customers' experiences, and that matters because people want to associate themselves with businesses that actually care. When you do these things, you become more than a business. You become someone more than just a person that sells products. You become a company that people trust to deliver on your promise. You become a brand. More doors open to companies that have a brand. Google is more willing to list you in the first page of search results. More importantly, people will believe in you. So what are you waiting for? It's time to start building your brand.